At this point, we're a little over 2 weeks out from Operation 4's launch on April 30th at the end of the month, which means that Operation Grand Heist and all it contains will soon be coming to a close. As for if some of these cool thematic changes and modes that we've seen over the course of the operation will go away forever, that is a story for another day and something that we have absolutely no idea of definitively yet. But one thing that we can start to look out for now is some teasers for the next operation, some hints at what the theme may be, what kind of content we'll be getting with that refresh. And so today, I want to talk to you guys about when we can firstly see these things start to happen and start to be teased, but also what that content may turn out to be. So before we jump into the video, if you're interested at all in keeping up to date with these sort of things, whether that be updates in terms of the game or these teasers that are coming just on the near horizon, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button, because interesting fun fact, 65% of viewers actually aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with daily Black Ops 4 and COD information, it's kind of our thing around here. But the first big question, when? When can we see these teasers start to happen? Interestingly enough, having now gone through 3 operations, 2 of which having been pre-promoed because they weren't just launching shortly after the launch of the game, we end up now having some sort of pattern and outline that we can end up taking a look at for when the marketing starts for this and what sort of things we can end up seeing when we discern when those days are that the marketing may start. As it stands right now, it looks like we'll end up seeing some teasers for this kind of stuff happen about a week before the operation starts or shortly before a week out. So the mark for 1 week out is that Tuesday, the 23rd of April, just actually in a week and a couple of days time at this point. But Call of Duty likes to make use of that entire week, so it'll probably start on the 22nd, that Monday, not necessarily the Tuesday, the 23rd. And we can see this backed up by the fact that the first teaser that we had for Operation Grand Heist was actually something that Call of Duty tweeted on Monday, February 11th, right at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, that being a tweet with the caption of, "Here's the plan," and the 6-second video loop of the blueprints for the Blackout map that we've showcased here on the channel many a times, in which it showcased a bunch of X's denoting new buildings and new locations within the map itself, and then also ended up having the large X on where Ghost Town was eventually added in. Curiously enough though, that coffee ring that we saw up in the left corner, which everybody thought would be where Alcatraz was added, never actually turned out to be the case. Instead, we ended up getting Alcatraz as its own standalone map, which is still absolutely awesome to me, and I have zero qualms with that, but that was our first official teaser. We then ended up seeing a couple of different tweets from the Call of Duty and PlayStation accounts over the course of the next few days on the 12th, 13th, 14th, and then finally the 15th, in which we got our first teasers for the brand new maps on the 12th and 13th in the order of Lockup as well as then Casino, and then we ended up seeing on the 14th that the PlayStation Twitter ended up tweeting out "The chase awaits, hashtag Black Ops 4, to which we saw our first little preview image of what was then Hot Pursuit, with a hot rod driving by and a bunch of the different police vehicles of the SUVs, the helicopters, as well as the ATVs following shortly behind. And finally, the last promo that we ended up getting was from the Call of Duty account with simply the caption of "On target with what was eventually then Outriders Sparrow." Now, of course, these are official images, videos, and such tweeted by the official accounts, but it wasn't the only thing that we ended up getting, because each day we ended up seeing that Treyarch also was updating their profile picture as well as their headers, to which out of that we ended up getting a bunch of information. We saw what was eventually some prestige information for Blackout, what eventually was a brand new perk for zombies, a new location in Blackout, that being the tower from Ghost Town, a new mode teaser for One in the Chamber, and so on and so forth. So there was, of course, a bunch of different things that happened just on the smaller end, not necessarily just the out in the open teasers that we ended up getting. And I would imagine that we end up seeing the same thing happen. So starting on Monday the 22nd, expect to start seeing some tweets and teasers from not only Call of Duty or PlayStation, but also maybe in the way of some smaller things hidden in plain view on the Treyarch Twitter and official accounts. One thing to also consider is that maybe even predating some of this, we have some in-game live updates that give us a little bit of teasers, because if you guys remember back for Operation Grand Heist, Ghost Town in particular was starting to be teased earlier than just this week out, so maybe even as of this upcoming week we see some things changing out. But we ended up having spikes denoting new locations around the Blackout map, added in at various locations that eventually ended up seeing new additions of garages, new buildings in particular, housing, and so on and so forth. And as well, we had larger pieces added in, such as what is eventually the clock tower face that we see in Ghost Town, plus also that candy cane wooden sign from Buried that eventually again made its way into the Buried portion of Ghost Town. So that's something that again is something to consider and might actually be coming even as early as of this upcoming week. But as of things to actually look out for that we'll maybe see teased out of this upcoming week, come down to a lot of things actually, so we'll break it down into segments. Firstly, I'd expect some sort of new tease of the theme. We ended up seeing that again, that showcase tweet from PlayStation showed off a little bit of the Blackout vehicles of the Hot Rod and the police SUVs and Hilo and such. So that was something that really kind of teased that cops and robbers theme for Black Ops 4's Grand Heist operation. So Operation 4 may end up having its own specific theme here like this, and having talked with the guys at Treyarch pre-launch of Operation Grand Heist at our capture event this last operation, they ended up saying they wanted to kind of take it in a little bit more of that spin as well, where each operation was its own unique feel and had its own thematic set to it. So very possible we'll see some sort of teaser, whether that be via tweets or just profile picture updates, showcasing a little bit of what we can end up seeing for this upcoming event. While as one of the last things teased officially by the Call of Duty account, we end up seeing a teaser of the new specialist, and it seems like we're on that rotation of again a brand new specialist with each operation, leaving us with what eventually will be 3 more specialists for the 3 remaining operations already detailed for year 1 of Black Ops 4. Now, this is something that is all up in the air, but if I were to put any bets on it, I'd probably say Spectre, maybe the idea of Reaper or Blackjack, but Spectre being that first one up, because as with Zero, as with Outrider, Spectre was the only specialist that's been teased from the very beginning of the game that we have yet to see introduced as a playable character. We've mentioned this a couple of times here on the channel, but if you end up going over to the map Frequency, in the main surveillance room, you end up seeing a bunch of information on specialists, and there are a couple of monitors with sort of scrambled transmissions. If you took a look at those monitors, you can end up seeing some key information on each of them, 2 of which denoting what eventually was Zero and Outrider. The only one left is someone that very much so resembles the MO of Spectre. So it seems like the order of these were already set and already teased accordingly, so I'd put money on Spectre, though truth be told, there are game files that point towards audio interactions in MP, not in Blackout, for all 3 of Spectre, Reaper, and Blackjack. So those may be our next 3 and final 3 specialists of year 1 of Black Ops 4, but we'll have to see in time if that in fact comes true. Something that could easily fill out a couple of days of the week for promo ends up coming down to maps, because this time around, we're not just gonna have 2 maps introduced for the Black Ops Pass with this operation. Instead, we're gonna have 3. So with that same theory and concept in mind, it could theoretically take up 3 of the 5 weekdays, assuming there's nothing that goes and overlaps onto the weekend, and also could be something we see 2 teasers in one, assuming we end up seeing something teased for Blackout as well as Zombies, and also keeping in accordance with the fact that we might get a themed teaser for the event as well. So maybe something is taken off the list here, maybe something is added in so there's a double up on one day, but 3 maps are going to be coming here for this operation, so we can keep an eye out for that as well. Almost certainly we'll have a brand new teaser for a new Blackout point of interest on top of all of this. That might even be what kicks off the entire week of promo as well, simply because, well, we've had a new operation introduce a new point of interest every single time so far. Absolute Zero introduced Hijacked, Ghost Town was introduced with Grand Heist, so what Operation 4 brings, that's a mystery right now, but as for the location of it, well, we've had something introduced in the west, we've had something introduced in the south, so that leaves open opportunity in the north and east portions of the map as well. So maybe consider your favorite desert or maybe sort of wooded areas, and we might see those added in come this next operation. I'm curious to see though if there will be any teasers for what may be a new feature of some sorts in Blackout. I don't exactly know what this could be, because we saw the introduction of the Prestige system last pre-promo period for Grand Heist, and that was something that honestly is pretty big. I know that it adds a lot more replayability to Blackout for those that love to grind out ranking, but I don't know if anything's been discussed on such a scale as the Prestige system, so so we'll have to keep a vigilant eye out for that one. And finally, the last thing that probably will be introduced is that of a new zombies perk or gauntlet of some sort. We saw a sort of hybrid with the promo for this one because the one Treyarch profile picture was an icon of the brand new perk, but also in the background it was a blurred out version of Classified Or 5, in which that was the next gauntlet up on deck that would eventually release with Grand Heist whenever that rolled around on the 18th of February. So certainly possible that sort of thing happens as well for a 2-for-1 there, but things also that will be coming but probably won't be teased are unfortunately new reserve contents, which will probably be sick because, well, you know, money. And then new characters for Blackout, either with the Black Ops Pass, challenges in-game like an earnable quest line, or things like reserves or special orders. Those are all certainly possible as well, but that's the sort of stuff that not only I would expect to see in the new operation itself, but also when we could potentially see them scattered throughout that 1 week earlier mark, and when we may be seeing it, how we may be seeing those teasers introduced via over on Twitter, the Call of Duty official accounts, the PlayStation account, and also Treyarch's own profile picture and header images as well. So we'll keep you up to date, of course, with all that kind of stuff if it does happen as we predict. I'm definitely thinking it will, because we've seen it the last two happen this way. Maybe even, who knows, maybe we see some stuff where some YouTubers or something get a piece of the updated Blackout map or something like that. I know that predating the Blackout beta, I got a random DM from the official Call of Duty Twitter account in which they gave me the link to a piece of the official Blackout map, which at the time, nobody had any idea what it would actually look like. And I had, I think, 1/8 or so of the map sent to me, which was honestly one of the coolest things. But to my knowledge, as of recording this, I haven't been contacted for anything like that, but who knows, it is something that's possible. Viral marketing like that has been done before, so it's not out of the realms of possibilities. But that's when, how, and what to expect here out of this pre-promo campaign that is coming up in just a short few number of days for Operation 4. So I'm certainly excited to see how everything turns out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular you're hoping for out of Operation 4, or maybe what may be teased earlier on before the launch of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if there's anything in particular you have on your mind. Hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies, and of course, Operation 4 news and information, updates, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered, so if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. I can live on both those. So if you guys want to share a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, that's it. Out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.